Welcome to Studio D on the campus of the University of Oklahoma. This is Sooner Sports Pad. And now, here's your host, Madeline Roberts.
Hello and welcome to Sooner Sports Pad. I'm your host, Madeline Roberts, alongside my co-analysts, Carson and Kenneth Adair. We also have a very loud and lively live studio audience, as you can hear with us this evening. Guys, who's in the audience today?
Well, obviously, it's OU cousins. They're in the crowd tonight. They're loud and rowdy. They're ready for a good night. It's Sooner Sports Pad.
We also have two players from the softball team, Lea Wodach and Vanessa Taukeiaho.
And don't forget, later on in the show, Ken and I will debate who our MVPs are of the OU football team the first third of the season.
And Sooner Sports Pad also sent one of its very own down to Texas to see what it feels like to be on the college football playoff committee.
Well, this week was a bye week for the Sooner football team, but next Saturday they welcome Iowa State, a team they defeated last season in Ames 34-24. OU came into Jack Trice Stadium Thursday, November 5th of last year, ranked number 14. Baker Mayfield threw 328 yards and 4 touchdowns. D.D. Westbrook caught 7 passes for 131 yards and a score for the Sooners. The defense gave up 21 points in the first half, but tightened up in the second, allowing just 7 points to the Cyclones. The Sooners moved to 6-0 in Big 12 play with the win, while Iowa State dropped to 0-6. It was also Oklahoma's 18th straight win over the Cyclones. Cyclones OU fullback Dimitri Flowers had a breakout performance in that game, and earlier today, Reagan Ledbetter caught up with Flowers to talk about last year's win and this week's game against Iowa State.
Thanks for joining us, Dimitri. All right, you guys had a hot start to the season, nice 4-0 start, and then a nice week off. How was the bye week for everybody?
It was huge. You know, whenever you go a couple weeks in a row, 4 weeks in a row, you're playing those games, obviously there's going to be bumps and bruises, so it's always good to have a couple days off and recover.
Looking back at Iowa State, you had quite the game last year. What do you remember most about that game last year in Ames?
Really remember how sore I was the next day. And you know, it's no joke. You know, that game was fun. It was a good atmosphere on a Thursday night. But, you know, definitely remember how sore I was.
You've had such an elevated role this year on the offense. What do you think has led to that? Is it hard work or just you?
You definitely just saw the work in the offseason with Schmitty and you know, just having or being able to have Link have that trust in me, and I feel like that's a huge part of it because we're going to put the best 11 on the field at all times, and when Coach Riley has the trust in you, you're going to be on the field.
And Baker's had another hot start to the season. What do you think has led to his success so far this season?
Definitely work ethic. You know, Baker's one of the hardest working guys I know, and he hates to lose. Everyone on this team hates to lose, and I think that's why we're so successful.
And to add to that, the offensive line has been hot this year, kind of the talk of the team right now. What have they meant to the success of this offense?
They're huge. It starts up front. I believe we have the best O-line in the country, and we strive to show it week in and week out.
Thanks, Dimitri.
Well, OU was on its bye week this week, but other Big 12 teams were in action. Ken, what did you think of Oklahoma State's performance on Saturday?
Well, obviously, OU fans are going to love this. Oklahoma State, the Cowboys up north from Norman, are absolutely struggling ever since they entered Big 12 play.
Yeah, they are.
They kind of dominated, you know, out-of-conference play, but when they came in and faced TCU down in Stillwater, they had struggled. They didn't play anybody until they got to Big 12. Oklahoma State allowed over 200 rushing yards, as you see there, against TCU. Mason Rudolph didn't look good at all. He had 2 touchdowns, but also had 2 interceptions. And then you go down to Lubbock, where they allowed Lubbock, the Texas Tech offense, to really stay in the game. Even the defense made some big plays as well. Oklahoma State is struggling, and if you're a Cowboy fan, I would be worried about the route they're going down right now.
Luckily, I don't think there are any Cowboy fans in the audience tonight.
Probably
so
not. I think it's
also,
safe to
don't
say.
think there are any Longhorn fans, and that's who I noticed during the bye week. I got to watch a little bit of football, and I noticed that their defense is getting better. Now, don't get that confused with that Texas is back. Texas is not back, but they're certainly headed in the right direction. They're giving up just over 96 rushing yards per game through 4 games and 344 yards per game overall. That's good for 4th in the Big 12. Aside from that embarrassing loss to Maryland week 1, where they gave up 51 points, the Longhorn defense has been solid. They shut out San Jose State, and I know it's San Jose State. I don't care who the opponent is. Getting a shutout is very good. It's very tough to do. They also did a good job against USC and Iowa State, both of those games on the road. Now, if they would just start Sam Ehlinger, I think they'd be a lot better. Tom Herman's a good coach, has them on the right track, and I think right now that they're better than at any point under Charlie Strong.
Well, in the past years, no one has really worried about their offense. It's been the defense, and It's good to see Texas stepping up for the Big 12 at least.
Texas is good for football.
Yes.
Speaking of Texas football, I know the OU soccer team had a game against Texas yesterday. Ken, how did that game go?
Yes, the other type of football. Oklahoma soccer faced off against the Texas Longhorns and did something to them that hasn't happened all season. Texas soccer was on a winning streak, and they kind of ended that just the other day. But Texas dominated this game. They had 19 shots to OU 6, 7 shots on goal to OU's none. But remember this name, goalkeeper. My apologies. I know. McKinley Conner. She is a beast. Saved every goal and dominated this game and kept OU in the game. Left them off with a tie. I apologize for the mess up. Truly, my sincere. But they dominated this game, and it's a good route for the OU Sooner soccer team, and they're on the right track.
Yeah, they are. Wasn't a loss. So, also, men's golf out in the Pacific Northwest in the Nike Golf Collegiate Invitational. A very good round one yesterday. Hot start yesterday led by Blaine Hales. 7 under 64, one shy of the OU record of 63. Round 2 today. In second, dropped a couple shots today, but they are 2 shots behind Stanford, in great position to win the tournament. Riley Casey leads the way for OU. He's tied for 6th at 6 under. Brad Balke, you may remember him, just 1 shot behind him, tied for 9th at 5 under. OU golf in a great position to win.
Absolutely. Good luck to them going forward. Well, it is now time for a break, but when we come back, we'll have face-off. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sooner Sports Pad. It is now time to play face-off. Guys, we are officially 1/3 of the way through OU's football season. Who is your MVP for the team so far this year?
Let me start out by saying you're going down in face-off. I'm going to beat you today. So.
Are you really getting competitive with
Okay,
me?
anyway, that's beside the point, though. I think it's easy to say Baker Mayfield. You know, everybody sees Baker Mayfield. He has all the numbers, Heisman candidate. But I'm going to go C.D. Lamb because the biggest question mark coming into the season was OU's wide receiving core. And out of everybody that's been playing, Jeff Badette, Marquise Brown, Jeff Mead, there's so many wide receivers, but I think C.D. Lamb has really emerged as Baker's go-to guy. Whether it's downfield, whether it's in short hitch routes, it's C.D. Lamb is getting it done for Baker Mayfield. And the fact that he's doing this as a freshman is unbelievable. On the year, 15 catches, 281 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging just over 70 a game. So that from a freshman, especially at a position that was so unknown coming into the season, that's impressive. And I think what C.D. Lamb is doing is only going to improve. I think him and Baker's connection will only get better as the season goes on.
Yeah, well, I love that you want to be competitive and talk trash to me, so I'm going to do that back with the guy who does it the most on the defensive side of the football. That's Parnell Motley. He's the new guy on the block, the new cornerback, and he is an absolute beast. Has been that way all season. If you watch this guy, he's absolutely incredible. You see him running his mouth, but you also see him backing it up. He walks the walk every time he talks the talk, and it's the type of player that every coach loves. Look at that. Interception against Ohio State, one of the biggest plays, not only of his career, but of the season so far. He's breaking through tackles. He's blocking up passes. I mean, you just got to love the guy. You love watching him. And then he had a big play against Tulane, pick 6, 77 yards to turn the game around. 18 tackles on the season, 2 of those for loss. Like I mentioned, 2 of those interceptions, 1 of those being a touchdown against Tulane that turned that game around. This guy is an absolute amazing athlete, and he's going to be the better cornerback this season. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just saying.
But he can't
just
cover C.D. Lamb, can he?
He hasn't had the chance to.
Okay, all right.
Probably in practice.
Yeah, maybe so.
Probably shuts him down all the time.
It's great to see 2 young guys stepping up for the Sooners so far this season.
I love
Guys,
how you
well, I'm
said
with
young.
Jonathan, and he has an audience question for you guys.
What is the Sooners' toughest game going forward this season?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked that. That's a good question. I'm going to go with Oklahoma State. You could easily say TCU. I think they're maybe the second best team in the Big 12, but I think Oklahoma State. OU gets TCU at home, and I think that's going to be big for OU. They've only lost 9 home games in 18 years, I believe. So they don't lose on their home field very often. I think on the road, though, you could see a little bit more, problems for OU. I don't think that OSU is going to beat OU. I'm not saying that at all. I think OU is going to run the table. But I think I think that game might be closer than any other game OU has the rest of the year because of OSU's potent offense. And I think they have the best offense in the country, and OU's defense is much improved this year, but they're not going to see another offense like what they're going to see in Stillwater.
Yes, the Oklahoma State offense is great, but we've seen what they've done in the Big 12 so far, not great. And so I'm going to pick the team that they play after Bedlam, being TCU. Yeah, and we all know that it's a much tougher game than it should be after a rivalry game. And TCU is, like you said, the #2 team in the Big 12, the second best all-around team behind the University of Oklahoma. And I think that's going to be the toughest matchup this season, especially with the way TCU's played. But at the end of the day, you said OU is going to run the table. I'm going to go a step further. OU doesn't lose in the Big 12, nor with having the best quarterback, the best offensive line, and the best offense in the country. They don't lose at all. I don't see them lose. We're going to go that far. And I think, yes, I think that TCU is going to be, after they beat TCU, it's going to be the jump start to a
What's today,
heck
October
of a season.
2nd?
Yes.
You're proclaiming a national championship.
Yes,
All
I
right.
am.
All right, we're going to write that down.
Okay, please write it down.
All right.
The bold predictions, Ken. Well, guys,
I got to have bold predictions.
show me your Valor videos
All
for
right.
the week.
So it's football season. I assume we both have football videos. There's nothing like high school football, you know. There's just passion and there's grit and there's determination. Friday Night Lights. Just like this play. Let's take a look. Takes the handoff. He might score after the hurdle, and then the big hit at the end. Like, man, that's some good stuff. I don't know what's more impressive, the hurdle there or the big hit at the end, you know? I don't know what's more impressive. I'm going to say the big hit at the end because he was like, hey, did you see what I just did back there? No, you didn't. Boom.
I don't know. The jump was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I
mean,
can jump over
was
you.
a God, can you?
If you're laying,
That
if you're
guy
kneeling
was a
down.
lot more than I can hit you like that, then I
Okay,
guess.
all right, that's fine.
We'll go back and forth. But nonetheless, my video, D2 football, not exciting, right? Emporia State versus Central Missouri, not exciting, right? But the way this game ended is probably unlike anything we've ever seen before. Let's just go to it.
Are you sure?
All right, yes, let's just go to it. Emporia State, final seconds of the game, ball game tied 31-31. They do a hitch and ladder. Tries to go back. Okay, it gets tipped. Now remember, final seconds of the game. Looks like he's going to take it to the house. Shrugs up a couple of tackles, but hold up. Oh, he fumbles. Okay, how's the game going to end? It ends up in the end zone, and Central Missouri picks up the ball. That's a touchdown. They win the game. Have you ever seen that before? They pick up a fumble in the end zone after getting another fumble, ending the game. I mean, that's just pretty impressive. That probably is a bad football play, but nonetheless, it is pretty exciting to watch. I say so.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get lucky.
And that's exactly what they did.
Lucky Irish.
All right, it is now time to vote for the winner of Face-Off. Cheer the loudest for who you think won. Who thinks it was Carson?
Woo! You're not going to vote for me? Come on! Come on!
Pretty good.
That was
How
not
about
good.
Ken?
Yes. Come on. Come on. Yes. There you go. Come on.
Guys,
think
that
I
was
won that one.
really close. I think I'm going to give it to Ken, though.
No, I think I won.
Thank you.
It was close.
2-0. Yes.
That's fine.
All right,
Yeah,
it's
mark
now
it down
time
as a win
for
on my
another
part.
break. But when we come back, we'll take a glimpse into a college student's experience at a mock college football playoff selection. Stay with us.
Special thanks to our cornerstone television partners, Chesapeake Energy, Riverwind Resort, Anheuser-Busch, OU Outreach, and OU Medicine.
Welcome back. In 2014, the College Football Playoff Committee was formed to decide which 4 teams get to play for the championship in January. Last month, a group of 12 lucky college journalists had the opportunity to take place in a mock trial, including Sooner Sports Pad's Collin Kennedy, who documented part of his experience. Take a look.
The College Football Playoff Committee is one of the most powerful and intriguing groups of people in all of sports. So why did they invite 12 college students here to Grapevine, Texas, to participate in a mock selection? The answer is real simple: to show how the process works and to inform about the challenges the committee faces.
The committee's got no guts. The committee's got no guts. All they basically do is look at records. Alabama's undefeated, they're 1. And then let's take the 4 1-loss teams, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's take the 2-loss teams, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Most fans would believe that the members of the College Football Playoff Committee have heard it all. That maybe no sports-related group has faced more backlash from fans than the 13 members who comprise it. But hold on.
We knew there was BCS fatigue, and I was, as a director of the BCS, I was kind of on the point to receive all that. So nobody saw it any more than I did, that the fans just wanted more. They wanted a bracket. And so we, in conjunction with our leadership group, the university presidents and the conference commissioners who managed the BCS, said, how can we make this better? And the college football playoff was a compromise. And because when we decided that 4 was the right team, the compromise gave us a playoff, gave the fans a bracket, but let us keep the focus on the regular season. And I'm just so proud of the success of the playoff so far. It couldn't have gone any better.
So yours truly was fortunate enough to join a group of college sports journalists who participated in a mock selection modeled perfectly after the real committee.
I sort of took away like how thorough of a process this is. I mean, these guys really just deliberate every single spot, like even like 19 versus 20.
We want you guys to go out there and tell people how it works. And nothing is more gratifying to me than during the season to hear some reporter who had been at one of the mocks say, hey, I've been in that room. I know what they go through.
What the committee did was protect their arse last night.
So the next time that you hear talking heads rambling on about the committee and all of its faults, just stop by your local university and ask a student what's really going on. Collin Kennedy, Sooner Sports Pad.
Collin and the other journalists used the 2012 football season for their mock trial and came out with the top 4 of Alabama, Notre Dame, Stanford, and Oregon. And now let's hear from 2 OU softball players, Lea Wodach and Vanessa Taukeiaho.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, great to have you. All right, Lea, senior year, you already have 2 national titles under your belt. What would a 3rd mean for you and the rest of your senior class?
I think that would be super exciting. I think everyone's dreams to win their last game that they play. So I mean, that's the goal. That's what we're striving for. I mean, that would be unreal. That's not something you talk about going to college to win 1 national championship, not come out with 3. So.
Right. And speaking of national championships, you had the chance to repeat. You had the chance to get your first. What was that feeling like?
It was definitely exciting because being a freshman, you don't expect to go up there and your first year make it to not only just the World Series but the championship. And just being there with my team was pretty amazing. And I know it's something that we're going to do for the rest of the time I'm here.
That's good stuff. All right. You 2 are both from California.
I love this question.
In-N-Out or Whataburger?
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out?
In-N-Out.
Okay, why?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I think that Whataburger tastes like a bigger.
I think some people in our crowd agree with
No, it tastes like a bigger version of McDonald's.
Okay. Yeah. Show your big appreciation. Yes. Yeah. Wait.
Sorry.
What? All right.
You can't go wrong with Whataburger breakfast, but In-N-Out food is quality-wise way better.
All right.
Are you including the fries?
Including the fries.
All right.
Okay. Well, we're gonna take it back to softball because this is very disappointing for me. You had a tough start to the season last year, and then you kind of had a rocky shake going into the playoffs and stuff. What types of motivation were you given, and did you give the girls, throughout the season?
Just to stay with it, to trust the process. It's a long season. We play a long season. I know my sophomore year when we won it, we had a rough start too, and just learning from that. I mean, it's kind of one of those things, you don't want to come out hot, so you want to finish strong. So we weren't too worried about it just because we had the experience before, and just to stay with it, like I said, and trust the process.
Trust the process. I heard that. Well, I think we have an audience question now. Madeline?
That's right. Jonathan has a question for you guys.
What is your guys' favorite pregame snacks?
Good question. All the snacks.
Good question. No.
Not one.
I mean, you never want to go into a game with have big meal. So, I mean, we usually just snack on fruit, vegetables that are in our dugout. I mean, in our locker rooms, but that's it, really.
I like to pick the M&Ms out of the trail mix.
Oh, that's the good move. That's the power move right there. I'm a big cheese guy.
We get Cheez-Its and Goldfish.
Well, since you don't like eating big meals beforehand, what about afterhand?
Oh yeah, we
go all out.
Yeah.
Really? Especially after a win, right?
Olive Garden, saltgrass.
Wow. Big stuff. Fancy.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
All right, thank you. We're hungry, so we're going to take a break. But when we come back, we'll play Dynamic Duos. Stay with us. Of questions about herself, and now Vanessa will attempt to answer them. Vanessa, do you feel prepared?
Yeah.
You think you're going to do well?
Yeah.
All right. I like it. It's confident. Let's see. Question number 1. What is Leah's favorite holiday? Is it A, Christmas, B, Halloween, C, Thanksgiving, or D, Valentine's Day? A? Christmas. Let's see. Oh. It's all about the food.
Turkey and ham.
That's okay, we can redeem ourselves. Question number 2. If Lea could play another sport other than softball, what would she play? A, swimming, B, soccer, C, basketball, or D, golf? Basketball. Let's see. Redeeming yourself, I like it. Question 3. Who is Leah's favorite team to beat? Is it A, Texas, B, Baylor, C, Auburn, or D, Florida?
Baylor.
Baylor? Okay. 2, 4, 3. Question number 4. What is Leah's ideal first date? Is it A, dinner and a movie, B, a sporting event, C, a museum, or D, a sunset at the beach?
A sunset at the beach.
Cali girl. Yeah! All right, question number 5. What is Leah's favorite subject in school? Is it A, science, B, math, C, history, or D, art?
Science.
She says A, science. Let's see. All right, 4 for 5. That's pretty good. Well, that is all we have for you tonight. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and be back here same time, same place.